Murmurs of disbelief and unease rippled through the Galactic Council chamber as the intelligence report was presented. The representatives of the Valoran hegemony, the Tyronian Dominion, and the Signian Protectorate exchanged uneasy glances, their confidence shaken by this unexpected revelation. "This cannot be possible," declared Kiloth, the Valoran High Counselor, his deep, rumbling voice betraying a hint of panic. "Railguns are a theoretical concept, beyond the reach of even our most advanced technologies. How could these humans have accomplished such a feat?" Trezin, the Tyronian delegate, leaned forward, her eyes narrowed in suspicion. "The report indicates that these humans are a young primitive species, barely scratching the surface of interstellar exploration. Yet they have managed to develop weapons that can rival the firepower of our capital ships. Something is amiss here." The Signian representative, Zelara, drummed her talons on the polished marble table, deep in thought. "Perhaps we have underestimated the ingenuity and determination of this human race. If they have indeed achieved such a remarkable technological breakthrough, it could upset the delicate balance of power in the galaxy." Silence fell over the chamber as the counselors contemplated the implications of this startling news. For generations, the Galactic Council had maintained a tenuous peace, with each member civilization vying for influence and resources, but always cognizant of the need to prevent an all-out war that could devastate the known worlds. The appearance of this new, seemingly primitive species wielding such advanced weaponry threatened to shatter that fragile equilibrium. If the humans were capable of producing railguns, what other technological marvels might they possess? Kiran, the venerable chairman of the Galactic Council, raised a clawed hand, commanding the attention of the room. "This development is indeed troubling," he said, his deep, gravel-like voice tinged with a hint of concern. "We must tread carefully, lest our actions provoke a reaction that could lead to a catastrophic conflict." The chairman turned to the intelligence officer who had presented the report. "Tell me, what else do we know about these humans? Their origins, their society, their intentions. We must understand them before we can determine the appropriate course of action." The officer, a young Tellarian named Rintel, cleared his throat nervously. "Our knowledge of the humans is limited, honored chairman. What we do know is that they hail from a relatively small temperate planet called Earth, located in a remote corner of the galaxy. Their civilization is remarkably diverse, with a multitude of distinct cultures, belief systems, and political structures." Rintel paused, consulting the datapad in his hands. Remarkably, despite their apparent technological inferiority, the humans have engaged in numerous conflicts with one another, often utilizing increasingly destructive weapons. It is this propensity for violence that concerns us the most. The Galactic Council members exchanged worried glances, the gravity of the situation weighing heavily upon them. If these humans were indeed as warlike as the report suggested, their possession of railgun technology could pose a grave threat to the fragile peace that had endured for millennia. The chairman's brow furrowed as he contemplated the council's next move. "Then it is clear," he said, his voice firm and resolute. "We must send a delegation to make contact with these humans and determine their intentions. Only then can we decide how to proceed and safeguard the stability of the galaxy." With a weighted silence, the Galactic Council members nodded in agreement, their faces etched with a mixture of determination and trepidation. The fate of the known universe now rested on the outcome of this first encounter with the mysterious and seemingly formidable human species. The Galactic Council's reconnaissance team, led by the seasoned Ceronian explorer, Drazen, approached the blue and green orb of Earth with a mixture of caution and curiosity. Their advanced scout ship, cloaked and equipped with the latest in sensor technology, glided silently through the void, its occupants eagerly awaiting their first glimpse of the mysterious human homeworld. As they descended into the planet's atmosphere, the team was immediately struck by the sheer diversity of the landscape. Towering mountain ranges, vast expanses of lush, verdant forests, and sprawling urban centers teeming with activity. It was a world teeming with life, a stark contrast to the sterile, hyper-efficient environments that the Galactic Council races had grown accustomed to. "Remarkable," Dresden murmured, her four-eyed gaze fixed intently on the sensor readings. "The reports did not do this world justice. The humans have managed to thrive in this seemingly chaotic environment." Her second-in-command, a young Tellarian named Rintel, nodded in agreement. "Indeed, and look at the level of industrialization and technological development. Their cities are ablaze with activity, and there appears to be an extensive network of transportation and communication systems spanning the entire planet." Drazen's mandibles twitched with a hint of curiosity. And yet, the report indicated that these humans are a primitive species, barely capable of interstellar travel. How is it, then, that they have achieved such remarkable feats? As the scout ship coasted silently over the vast urban landscapes, the team's sensors detected a hive of activity centered around numerous facilities and research centers. Drazen's eyes narrowed as she studied the data streaming in. "There," she said, pointing to a cluster of structures on the edge of a sprawling metropolis. "That appears to be a major military installation, and if my suspicions are correct, those are the railgun facilities we were informed about." Rintel's fingers danced across the ship's holographic interface, enhancing the resolution of the images. "You're right, Drazen. Those structures match the schematics we were provided, and the energy signatures we're detecting. They're unlike anything I've ever seen." The Xyronian explorer leaned back in her seat, her expression deeply pensive. "So the reports were accurate. These humans have indeed developed railgun technology, a feat that even our most advanced species have yet to accomplish. This changes everything." Frezin turned to her team, her voice low and urgent. "We must return to the Galactic Council immediately and report our findings. The implications of this discovery are far-reaching, and the Council must be made aware of the true extent of the human technological prowess." As the scout ship pivoted and began its ascent, Drazen couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. The humans had defied all expectations, and their potential as a species was clearly greater than anyone had imagined. The Galactic Council would need to tread carefully in its dealings with this new and potentially formidable player on the cosmic stage. "I fear," Drazen murmured to herself, "that the balance of power in the galaxy has just been irrevocably shifted." The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with a palpable tension as Drazen and her team presented their findings from the reconnaissance mission to Earth. The alien representatives listened intently, their expressions a mixture of shock, awe, and unease. Kirin, the venerable chairman, leaned forward, his clawed hands clasped tightly on the polished marble table. "So the reports were accurate. These humans have not only developed railgun technology, but have also mastered spaceflight and established colonies beyond their homeworld. This is deeply concerning." Kloth, the Valoran High Counselor, rumbled with a barely contained anger. "Concerning? This is a catastrophic development. A primitive species, barely out of its infancy, has managed to acquire weapons that can threaten the very existence of our civilizations. We must act swiftly to contain this threat before it spirals out of control." Drazen raised a claw, silencing the Valoran's outburst. "I understand your alarm, Kiloth, but we must not jump to hasty conclusions. The humans, while technologically advanced in certain areas, are still a young and relatively isolated civilization. Perhaps there is an opportunity here to bring them into the fold of the Galactic Council, to guide their development and prevent any potential conflict." Zel Era, the Cygnian representative, nodded thoughtfully. "Drazen makes a valid point. The humans have demonstrated a remarkable capacity for innovation and self-determination. If we approach them with diplomacy and offer the chance to join our alliance, they may prove to be valuable allies rather than adversaries." The chamber descended into a heated debate, the councilors struggling to find a consensus on how to proceed. Some argued for a forceful, preemptive strike to neutralize the human threat, while others advocated for a more measured diplomatic approach. Kirin raised a hand, silencing the din. "Enough. We are not here to wage war. but to maintain the delicate balance of power that has preserved peace in the galaxy for generations. However, we cannot ignore the potential dangers posed by these humans and their advanced weaponry. The chairman turned to Dresden, his gaze piercing. You and your team have provided invaluable intelligence. Now I task you with a critical mission. You will lead the diplomatic delegation to make first contact with the humans. Assess their intentions, their societal structures, and their technological capabilities. Only then can we determine the best course of action. Dresden inclined her head, her 4 eyes gleaming with a mixture of trepidation and determination. It will be done, honored chairman. However, I must caution that this will be no easy endeavor. The humans have already demonstrated a fiercely independent spirit, and they may not take kindly to our overtures. Karen nodded solemnly. I am aware of the risks, Dresden. But the future of the galaxy may very well hang in the balance. We must be willing to take that chance, lest we forever live in the shadow of this new power. As the Galactic Council members filed out of the chamber, a heavy silence settled over the room. The fate of the known universe now rested on the shoulders of Dresden and her delegation, as they prepared to embark on a mission that would forever alter the course of galactic history. Dresden and her delegation materialized on the surface of Earth, their sleek, silver-hued spacecraft settling gently onto a vast landing pad just outside a bustling metropolitan center. The Xeronian explorer took a moment to compose herself, then led her entourage of senior counselors and diplomatic aides towards the towering structure that housed the leadership of this enigmatic human civilization. As they approached the imposing marble edifice, Dresden couldn't help but feel a twinge of unease. The humans had greeted their arrival with a mix of curiosity and suspicion, their eyes wary and their posture guarded. It was clear that these people were not accustomed to visitors from the stars, and she knew that the outcome of this first contact would set the tone for all future interactions. The delegation was ushered into a grand audience chamber, where they were met by a group of human officials, their features a curious blend of similarities and distinct differences. Dresden studied them intently, cataloging the nuances of their appearance and body language, searching for any clues that might provide insight into their culture and temperament. At the center of the human delegation stood a tall, stern-faced individual, his gaze unwavering as he regarded the alien visitors. Dresden recognized him as the primary representative, the one the humans had designated to engage with the Galactic Council. "Welcome to Earth," the human said, his voice surprisingly deep and measured. "I am President Mikhail Volkov, leader of the United Nations. On behalf of humanity, I extend our greetings to the Galactic Council." Dresden inclined her head respectfully. "President Volkov, I am Dresden, representative of the Tyronian Dominion and emissary of the Galactic Council. We are honored to make your acquaintance." The human's expression remained stoic, but Dresden detected a glint of curiosity in his eyes. "The Galactic Council," he mused. "We've heard whispers of your existence, but this is the first time our people have been visited by representatives from the stars. Tell me, what brings you to our humble world?" Dresden chose her words carefully, mindful of the delicate nature of the situation. "President Volkov, the Galactic Council has become aware of the remarkable technological advancements your people have achieved, particularly in the realm of railgun weaponry. We are intrigued by this development and seek to better understand your intentions and capabilities." The human leader's brow furrowed slightly, and Dresden caught a subtle shift in the posture of the other officials, as if they had suddenly become more guarded. "Ah, I see," Volkov said, his tone neutral. "Our railgun technology is indeed a source of pride for us. But I must confess, I'm not entirely sure why it would be of interest to the Galactic Council. Are you concerned that we might pose a threat to your alliance?" Dresden hesitated, sensing the underlying tension in the human's words. "Not at all, President Volkov. The Galactic Council simply wishes to explore the possibility of establishing diplomatic relations and fostering cooperation between our civilizations. We believe there is much we could learn from one another." Volkov's gaze narrowed, his expression unreadable. "I see. Well, The people of Earth are certainly open to the prospect of galactic cooperation. However, I must make it clear that we have no intention of relinquishing control over our own technological advancements or military capabilities. Those are matters of sovereign importance to us. Dresden felt a twinge of unease at the human's firm stance, realizing that the path to any meaningful alliance would be a delicate and treacherous one. Understood, President Volkov. Rest assured, the Galactic Council has no desire to interfere with your internal affairs. We simply hope that we can find common ground and work together for the betterment of our respective civilizations. Volkov nodded, the barest hint of a smile tugging at the corner of his lips. Then I believe we have much to discuss. Welcome to Earth, Dresden. Let us see what the future holds for our two worlds. The negotiations between the Galactic Council delegation and the human representatives quickly grew tense and unyielding, as both sides struggled to find common ground. Dresden, ever the diplomat, attempted to steer the discussions towards a mutually beneficial arrangement, but President Volkov and his team proved to be formidable adversaries. You must understand, Dresden, that the railgun technology we have developed is the cornerstone of our military might and a symbol of our hard-won independence, Volkov said, his voice firm and unwavering. We have no intention of surrendering such a strategic advantage, even in the face of your so-called Galactic Council. Kiloth, the Valoran High Counselor, leaned forward, his deep rumbling voice laced with barely contained frustration. You speak of independence, human, but do you not realize the dangers of isolationism in a galaxy teeming with advanced civilizations? Joining the Galactic Council would offer you protection, resources, and the opportunity to share in our collective knowledge and prosperity. Volkov's eyes narrowed, and Dresden could sense the tension in the room growing palpable. Protection, resources. Your words sound enticing, High Counselor, but I suspect they mask a more sinister agenda. We have seen how your advanced civilizations have subjugated and exploited lesser species in the name of your prosperity. Zell-Era, the Cygnian representative, raised a clawed hand in a placating gesture. President Volkov, I assure you that the Galactic Council's intentions are not to subjugate or exploit, but to foster cooperation and unity among the various stellar nations. We have maintained peace and stability in the galaxy for millennia through our shared principles and mutual respect. The human leader's expression remained stoic, but Dresden caught a glimpse of something akin to skepticism in his eyes. Principles and respect, you say? And yet your very presence here, demanding that we relinquish control over our own technological advancements, suggests otherwise. Rintel, Dresden's young Talarian aide, leaned in, his voice tinged with a hint of desperation. But President Volkov, surely you can see the benefits of joining the Galactic Council. We could offer you advanced medical technologies, ecological restoration techniques, even the secrets of faster-than-light travel. Imagine the possibilities for your people. Volkov's gaze hardened, and he shook his head slowly. The people of Earth have no need for your technologies or your secrets, young Talarian. We have managed to thrive and advance on our own, without the interference of outside powers. Your offer of cooperation is nothing more than a thinly veiled attempt to exert control over us. Dresden could feel the discussion slipping further and further away from a resolution. Sensing the growing frustration of her fellow counselors, she knew that they were dangerously close to resorting to more forceful tactics. She had to act quickly to salvage the situation. President Volkov, I understand your concerns, and I assure you that the Galactic Council has no desire to subjugate or exploit your people. However, I must caution you that refusing to cooperate with us could lead to dire consequences for your world and your species. The human leader's eyes narrowed, and Dresden saw a flash of defiance in his expression. Are you threatening us, Dresden? Because if you are, let me make one thing clear. The people of Earth will not be cowed by the demands of any alien alliance, no matter how powerful you may believe yourselves to be. As the tension in the room reached a boiling point, Dresden knew that their diplomatic overtures had failed. The humans were unwilling to compromise, and the Galactic Council was running out of options. The stage was now set for a confrontation that could forever alter the balance of power in the galaxy. Drazin and the Galactic Council delegation hastily retreated from the tense negotiations, their previous confidence shattered by the unyielding defiance of the human representatives. As their sleek spacecraft lifted off from the landing pad, Drazin could feel the weight of their failure bearing down on her. "This is a disaster," Kikaloth rumbled, his four-eyed gaze fixed on the rapidly shrinking figure of the human capital below. "The humans have refused to cooperate, and now they possess advanced weaponry that could threaten the very foundation of the Galactic Council." Zell-Era's talons drummed anxiously on the armrest of her seat. "I warned that this course of action was risky, but the Council insisted on making contact. Now we find ourselves at an impasse, with no clear path forward." Rintel, his youthful features etched with concern, turned to Drazin. "What do we do now, Drazin? The humans have made it clear that they have no intention of joining the Galactic Council, and they seem willing to defend their technological superiority at all costs." Drazin's four eyes narrowed as she contemplated their options. "We must return to the Galactic Council and report our findings. The other members must be made aware of the true extent of the human threat and the potential consequences of their refusal to cooperate." Kaloth's rumbling voice carried a note of resignation. "And then what? Do we risk open conflict with this belligerent species, knowing that their railgun technology could potentially overwhelm our own military might?" Zell-Era's expression darkened. "We cannot allow such a threat to go unchecked, Kaloth. The stability of the entire galaxy is at stake. If the humans refuse to see reason, then we may have no choice but to consider more decisive measures." Drazin raised a claw, silencing the heated debate. "We must tread carefully. Resorting to outright aggression against the humans could have catastrophic consequences, both for us and for the delicate balance of power we have maintained for so long." The Ceronian explorer's gaze drifted towards the rapidly receding form of the human capital, her mandibles twitching with a mixture of frustration and apprehension. "No, we must find another way. Perhaps there is still a path to coexistence, if we can somehow convince the humans to see the benefits of joining the Galactic Council." Rintel's brow furrowed. "But Drazin, you saw how adamant they were in their refusal. They seem unwilling to compromise, even in the face of our superior technology and resources." Drazin nodded solemnly. "I am aware, Rin-telephone, and that is precisely what concerns me. These humans have demonstrated a level of determination and resilience that we have not encountered in any other species. They may prove to be more formidable adversaries than we could have imagined." As the Galactic Council delegation's spacecraft streaked back towards their home systems, Drazin couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. The balance of power in the galaxy had been irrevocably shifted, and the future now hung in the balance. The humans had taken them by surprise with their railguns, and Drazin knew that they would have to adapt quickly if they were to prevent an all-out war. One thing was certain: the Galactic Council would never underestimate the humans again. The Galactic Council chamber was filled with a tense, uneasy silence as Drazin and her delegation reported the outcome of their failed negotiations with the human representatives. The other counselors listened intently, their expressions darkening with each passing moment. Kirin, the venerable chairman, leaned forward, his clawed hands clasped tightly on the polished marble table. "So the humans have refused our offer of cooperation and have made it clear that they have no intention of relinquishing control over their military technologies, even in the face of our superior power." Kikaloth's rumbling voice carried a hint of barely contained anger. "This is unacceptable. These humans have the audacity to defy the Galactic Council, and they possess weaponry that could threaten the very existence of our civilizations. We must take immediate action to neutralize this threat before it spirals out of control." Zell-Era raised a clawed hand, silencing the Valoran's outburst. "Kaloth, while I share your concerns, we must not act rashly. The humans have demonstrated a level of technological prowess and determination that we have not encountered before. Any aggressive action on our part could provoke a violent retaliation that could devastate the galaxy. Drazen nodded in agreement. Zell-Era is right. The humans have made it clear that they will not be cowed by our demands, and they seem willing to defend their sovereignty at all costs. If we push them too hard, we may very well find ourselves embroiled in a conflict that none of us can afford to lose. Kieran's gaze swept across the council members, his expression grave. Then what do you propose? Drazen. We cannot simply ignore the human threat and hope that it will go away. The balance of power in the galaxy has been irrevocably shifted, and we must find a way to adapt to this new reality. Drazen's 4 eyes narrowed as she considered the chairman's question. We must tread carefully, honored chairman. Rather than resorting to outright aggression, I believe we should explore alternative avenues of diplomacy and cooperation. Perhaps there is still a way to convince the humans to see the benefits of joining the Galactic Council, even if it means offering them more concessions than we had originally planned. Kaloth's rumbling voice carried a note of skepticism. Concessions. You would have us barter with these upstart humans, as if they were equals. They have shown themselves to be untrustworthy and belligerent. Why should we not simply overwhelm them with our superior military might and force them to submit to our will? Zell-Era's talons tapped against the polished table, her expression thoughtful. Kaloth raises a valid point, but we must also consider the potential consequences of such actions. The humans have demonstrated a remarkable capacity for innovation and resilience. Even if we were to defeat them militarily, they may find ways to adapt and evolve, posing an even greater threat in the future. Kieran raised a clawed hand, silencing the debate. Enough. We must not allow our emotions to cloud our judgment. Drazen, I will task you and your team with the responsibility of exploring alternative diplomatic channels with the humans. Tread carefully, for the fate of the galaxy may very well hang in the balance. Drazen inclined her head, her expression resolute. It will be done, honored chairman. We will not underestimate the humans again. This time, we will find a way to coexist or die trying. As the council members filed out of the chamber, a heavy silence settled over the room, tinged with a palpable sense of uncertainty. The future was no longer clear, and the Galactic Council found itself on the precipice of a new and uncharted era. In the aftermath of the failed diplomatic negotiations, the Galactic Council found itself at a crossroads, forced to reevaluate its stance towards the enigmatic human species. The revelation of their advanced railgun technology had sent shockwaves through the interstellar alliance, shattering the long-standing assumption of the Council's technological superiority. Kieran, the venerable chairman, convened a private meeting of the Council's inner circle, his 4-eyed gaze sweeping across the room. The humans have left us with a stark choice. Adapt or perish. Their refusal to cooperate with the Galactic Council and their apparent willingness to defend their sovereignty at all costs have irrevocably altered the balance of power in the galaxy. Drazen, the Xyronian emissary, nodded solemnly. Indeed, honored chairman. The humans have proven to be a force to be reckoned with, their technological prowess and steadfast determination catching us off guard. We can no longer afford to dismiss them as a mere primitive species. Kaloth, the Valoran High Counselor, rumbled with barely contained frustration. Then what do you propose we do, Drazen? Shall we beg for the humans' forgiveness and plead for their acceptance into the Galactic Council? I will not see our civilization reduced to such a humiliating position. Zell-Era, the Cygnian representative, raised a clawed hand, cutting off Kaloth's outburst. We must consider all options, Kaloth, no matter how unpalatable they may seem. The stability of the galaxy is at stake, and we cannot afford to let our pride cloud our judgment. Kieran's gaze hardened. Zell-Era is right. The humans have made it clear that they will not bow to our demands, and we cannot risk open conflict with a species that possesses such formidable weaponry. We must find a way to coexist, to forge a new path forward that preserves the delicate balance of power. The chairman turned to Dresden, his expression resolute. You and your team will continue to monitor the humans' progress and explore any possible avenues for cooperation. We must understand them, their motivations, and their long-term goals if we are to have any chance of securing a lasting peace. Dresden inclined her head, her 4 eyes gleaming with a mixture of determination and trepidation. It will be done, honored chairman. However, I must caution that the humans may prove to be a far more complex and unpredictable adversary than we have ever encountered. The Xeronian emissary paused, her mandibles twitching as she considered the gravity of the situation. I fear that the humans' rapid technological advancement and their apparent disregard for the established order of the galaxy may have irrevocably shifted the balance of power. We must be prepared to adapt, to evolve, and to forge a new path forward that accommodates this new reality. Karen nodded solemnly. So be it. The Galactic Council will monitor the humans closely, and we will be ready to seize any opportunity for cooperation or diplomacy. But make no mistake, if they prove to be an unrelenting threat to the stability of the galaxy, we may have no choice but to consider more decisive measures. As the council members filed out of the chamber, a heavy silence settled over the room, tinged with a palpable sense of apprehension. The future was no longer certain, and the Galactic Council found itself in uncharted territory, forced to confront the unexpected rise of a new power, the enigmatic and formidable human race.